A Return to Simple Joys. Written by Short Storytelling. Read by Short Storytelling. Modern life can be a busy thing. It's full of movement, plans, objectives, goals, and a lot of waiting. It can weigh on a person, all that bustling about, so it's important that one takes the time to pause and enjoy something simple for a while. Myself, I had a most excellent weekend. It didn't start out mellow, but the mellow time I did get became the highlight. I know that it sounds easy, but it requires intention. It isn't a matter of just sitting still for a few minutes. You have to do it purposefully. Otherwise, you end up burning that time by worrying, stressing, or just planning your next move. Give yourself some grace to sit still and let the world fall away for some time. My time started out the opposite of mellow. I had plans to visit our local farmers market Saturday morning, and it was their grand opening. We'd planned for a mid-morning start, but this was accelerated unexpectedly, and I was rushing to get ready, eager to spend time with my girlfriend. We touched base while I was already out running some errands getting ready, and my hour time frame for getting ready turned into 20 minutes. Perspective is key when it comes to dealing with unplanned acceleration. Yes, it would mean having to rush through some tasks and skipping others while I decided what to prioritize, but it also meant a quicker start to my day and less time waiting around. To top it all off, it meant meeting my partner sooner, and that always gives me joy and calm. Every time I meet my girlfriend, I get a goofy grin on my face. It always gives me a deep satisfaction when I see her, like finding that missing piece of myself again each time. That tension I had unconsciously been holding relaxes, and I feel more like myself in her presence. One of my simple joys is acknowledging how being around her makes me feel. I have to be aware enough to feel that warmth and simple satisfaction wash over me. When I arrived at her home, I was rushing, and we had a deadline. This meant there was a bit of anxiousness about getting where we were going, but when I arrived and saw her, I still made it a priority to see her and witness that glow in my heart and feel that goofy grin naturally spread across my face. We finished our preparations, headed out, and arrived at the market in a timely fashion. We weren't early, but we weren't late either. We even managed to find a reasonable parking spot and made our way to the market. I'd not been to my local farmer's market before. I was expecting a small event with a dozen stalls. This was not what we found. My innocence was immediately replaced with a bit of trepidation. This was a real event, with over 100 vendors and a dense crowd of people meandering between them. I don't do poorly in crowds, but I also don't enjoy them. The press of people, my sense of personal space violated as we all attempt to move our own directions, waiting for people to move, trying to be patient, already irritated by the last slow person I managed to get past. It can be a frustrating and anxiety-inducing situation. This is where the next simple joy comes in: holding hands. In the most nonchalant way possible, my girlfriend held out her hand for me to hold and kept me grounded throughout the event. Her presence helping me to just enjoy the time. My focus became her, and being with her whenever the crowd moved impressed us. She was there with me, her hand in mine, an oasis in the din. I can't say if she was in her element or not, but she was unfazed and unflustered by the people, a steady, purposeful aura about her, as she patiently wound her way from one booth to the next, intent on examining the wares on offer. Being able to hold her hand through it all allowed me to enjoy the whole event. Instead of rushing through, eagerly wanting to leave, I could be slow and purposeful, enjoying the time with her and experiencing the event and vendors in a pleasant way. I let her guide me through the market, not rushing, but also she was patient with me. I enjoyed watching her take her time, asking questions of the vendors, and she was eager to acknowledge me and ask if I was ready to move on or if I wanted to return to a previous section. It was a simple, satisfying pleasure to feel like we were aligned in our purpose. We spent the next few hours visiting each stall we could find, and an excellent time holding hands and shopping the market. Once we'd seen everything, we were ready to leave. We made our way back to the car and headed to her home. I had high hopes for the afternoon and what would come next. Once we arrived, we puttered around organizing our purchases. This was when she asked if I felt like having a nap. Younger me never cared much for naps. They always seemed like such a waste of time, and there were so many things to do in the world. As I've gotten older, I've realized that an afternoon nap is one of the greatest joys in the world, and a nap with someone you love and care about can transcend nearly any trouble in the world. I eagerly agreed, and we made our way to her bedroom. We closed the door and laid down on the bed, neither of us even undressing. The moment wasn't about sexuality, but about shared physical intimacy that wasn't obstructed by simple things like clothing. I snuggled in close to her, my arm and leg laying across her, the covers pulled over myself. She was overheated, so no covers for her yet. I let that moment sink into my psyche. We had an understood, shared bond, a deep, heartfelt trust to watch over each other while we slept. Not out of necessity, but out of choice. We both chose purposely to share our personal space, hold each other, and watch over each other. A warm contentment came over me, my body and soul relaxing, comforted and soothed by her presence next to me. This was the pinnacle of the day for me. Not the stimulation and spectacle of the market, but this most simple of pleasures, of being warm and safe, my body next to someone I care for deeply, and feeling my own trust and comfort reciprocated. Insulated together in our little bubble as the world passed us by, we slept together in the purest of ways. This peaceful joy is perhaps the most simple of pleasures, but it was what I wanted and needed most in the world in that moment. The world fell away. My girlfriend held close in my arms, and I became filled with affection and satisfaction. This is what simple joys really are about, satisfaction. In that moment, I let that satisfaction seep into my bones, eager to let that simple joy sustain me. Simple pleasures are the best, but they require acknowledgement to be satisfying. If we can be purposeful with our intent and take the time to acknowledge them, they can sustain us through the difficult times. Holding on to them, remembering them, can be a balm to our spirits. So when you find a simple joy, don't dismiss it, savor it. Let it resonate within you and grant you peace.